All right, 6 o'clock?
Yes.
Excellent. All right, we will first hold a call to order our public hearing and second preliminary determination hearing for the Franklin County Community School Board. We will start this time with a roll call. Unlike last time. Kevin Kaiser.
Here.
Jessica Brennan. I'm here. Greg Burris.
Here.
Beth Foster.
Here.
Katie Holman.
Here.
Kim Simonson.
Here.
And Brandy Wilson.
Here.
Excellent. All right. So next, we will hold a hearing and a second preliminary determination hearing on the proposed project. If you're interested in speaking at the hearing, please make sure you have signed in on the sign-in sheet that was at the back of the room. We have it up here now, which will include your name and address. After presenting or the presentation by the administration and its advisors, there will be an opportunity for the public to make comments about the project. At the hearing, we will ask that each person limit their comments to 3 minutes and that the topic be limited to the proposed project under consideration. The notice of this hearing was published as legally required. The first preliminary determination hearing was held on July 13th of 2026. And at this time, I will ask Dustin Gehring, our superintendent, to explain the purpose of the hearing.
Pursuant to Indiana Code 20-26-7-37, before a school corporation may spend more than $1 million to build, repair, or alter, to issue bonds, or to enter a lease for a project, which is a total project cost in excess of a non-controlled project, or if the school corporation has a debt service fund tax rate above a certain amount. These public hearings and the adoption of the resolutions are the very beginning of the legal process. These resolutions establish the maximum financial terms for the proposed project.
Okay. We will now hear from Dustin Gehring, superintendent, about the process of determining and communicating the project to the community and the need for the project.
Thank you. In March of 2024, the board approved continuing the Franklin County Community School Corporation's 5-school model for the foreseeable future. With that decision made, the board shifted its attention from determining which buildings would serve our students to determining how we could preserve and improve those buildings and the campuses for years to come. To answer that question, a comprehensive facility and viability assessment was conducted, much like the previous assessment conducted a few years ago. Those independent assessments concluded that each of our 3 elementary schools are structurally viable and capable of serving students for at least the next decade, provided that appropriate restorative improvements are completed. One of those assessments, conducted by Performance Services, identified approximately $25 million in restoration needs across the 3 elementary schools. These are not expansive upgrades. They are investments necessary to preserve the life of our existing buildings by addressing aging infrastructure, improving building systems, enhancing safety and security, and modernizing instructional environments. The assessments identified needs including campus improvements, building envelope repairs, HVAC replacement and upgrades, plumbing improvements, electrical system improvements, roofing, classroom renovations, technology infrastructure, lighting upgrades, secure classroom door hardware, and cafeteria equipment. Together, these improvements are designed to ensure that all 3 elementary schools remain structurally sound, safe, secure, modern, and future ready. In spring of 26, after reviewing the assessment findings, the board reaffirmed its commitment by approving the next phase of the Master Facility Improvement Plan. The board established a clear direction to renovate and upgrade all 3 existing elementary schools according to need, with bond-funded projects focused on the improvements identified through the viability assessments. From a financial standpoint, the board has taken a thoughtful and responsible approach. The proposed improvements are being phased over multiple years, allowing us to address the most significant restoration needs while structuring the financing to maintain our current debt service tax levy and preserve flexibility within our debt capacity for future improvements. At its core, this plan is guided by a simple philosophy: fix what's needed and improve what matters. These investments are about extending the life of our existing schools, providing safe and reliable learning environments, supporting modern instruction, and ensuring that our facilities reflect the excellence of our students and staff. Ultimately, however, this project is an investment not just in these 3 buildings, but in the future of FCCSC. The unified project proposed allows us to prepare for the future beyond the improvements noted previously. The unified project creates an opportunity for future projects as the board prepares for the next phase for FCCSC by protecting our debt capacity while still requiring transparency, allowing for community involvement each and every time a project is proposed. Think of the I apologize. Think of the unified project as an umbrella of protected capacity that the board, through all the proper and required hearings and processes, can leverage to serve the needs of the corporation.
Okay, great, thank you. We will now hear from Matt Shoemaker from Stiefel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, our underwriter, about how the proposed project will be financed, as well as information about the effect on the typical property taxpayer.
Good evening, Matt Shoemaker from Stiefel. Great to see all of you again. I'm going to be bouncing back and forth between this and the computer. Same presentation as last month, so we'll walk through this. So where we always start is your current debt service fund levy. Levy being the amount of taxes that you're asking from taxpayers to pay back your bond obligations. We have color coded here by outstanding bond issue, all stacked on top of each other to show the annual obligation each and every year. 2026 current debt service levy is just a little bit under $5.7 million, but then significantly drops out in 2027. You can see after you pay back your debts this year, there's not a whole lot of debt left outstanding. It's exactly what we want to see when we're talking about a project such as this. Moving forward, the goal is to keep the debt service levy neutral. And if we flip to the next page, we will see how that can be accomplished. Bunch of different colors on this page, as we talked about last month. So gray represents what I just showed you. That's your current outstanding bond issues. And then the various colors would be portions of the proposed project that we're here to talk about tonight. This is not set in stone. This is our best guess as of now about how these bond issues might move forward. So we have a small issuance here yet in 2026, and then larger chunks in 27, 29, and 31. Again, the amount and the timing, should this move forward, will be up to the board and the administration. This is just kind of for illustrative purposes of us showing this can be accomplished without increasing the levy. So as we stack those various bond issues on top of each other, the different colors, you can see the goal is to keep the debt service levy right at the just under the $5.7 million moving forward. What we are not going to be able to control under this is the tax rate. We talked a little bit about that last month. We're controlling the levy. The tax rate is going to be dependent on what the net assessed value does in the future. Senate Enrolled Act 1 has caused net assessed values to moderate. We're seeing large growth. We have not seen that last year or this year. Projected next year is potentially that net assessed value to come down. So even if taxpayers see the tax rate steadily increase, the amount of taxes that you're asking for will not change as part of this project. So we're separating the tax rate from the tax levy. The school for up to 80 million, you cannot go over $80 million. Estimated capitalized interest, cost of issuance, these are upfront professional fees. Again, these are worst case. That's listed at $1,250,000, which would leave $78,750,000 available for hard, soft project costs, the money going into the projects that Dustin just talked about. Maximum interest rate is listed at 6%. Again, we talked about this. If you're borrowing today, you're somewhere around 4 or 4.25. We're not borrowing today. This potentially may not be borrowed fully for several years. Interest rates fluctuate, so hopefully we built enough conservatism in there. Maximum term of the bonds, 20 years per bond issue. So we've listed 20 years from that final issuance is kind of the max term of how far these bonds can go out. That is per state statute. You have no ability to go beyond the 20 years. $80 million at 6%, that's going to come out at an estimated interest cost of $45,007,083. If and when these bonds are issued, hopefully at a much lower interest rate, you're going to see that number come down potentially significantly. The net increase over the 2026 debt service levy, I've said this probably too many times now, but we're doing this levy neutral, meaning no increase to that levy beyond where we are in this current budget year. Last two pieces of information that we have to have per state statute is the school corporation's max annual payments. divided by your net assessed value, that is 0.51%. And then direct and overlapping debt. Direct debt would be the school corporation's debt. Overlapping debt would be debt of other units that a taxpayer would see. That as a percent of your net assessed value is 7.73%. Lots of charts, lots of numbers. What questions can I help answer?
Do you have a lottery ticket that we can get all this, that we can win on this, so we can finance this?
Mine probably won't win. You might
Oh,
want to find your own. Yes, I'm not very lucky.
All right. Well, thank you
Thank you.
again. All right. We will now open the public hearing. So remember, if you would like to speak, you should have signed into the sheet, which is now located up here. As I mentioned earlier, we ask that you state your name and address, limit your comments to the proposed project and financing, keep any comments to 3 minutes, and avoid being repetitive if possible. I have the sign-in sheet, I have that. And we have two, again, that are signed up. So first is Sarah Duffy. You got the timer?
Yep.
All right.
Hello, school board. I'm Sarah Duffy. Before you vote for an $80 million bond, I'm asking if you would please publicly announce a timeline and more specific information about the projects you will do and when, in what order. You have previously talked about having a new elementary school at Brookville, a second exit from Wildcat Lane, and a brand new field house. I think the public deserves to know more about these. If school board, if you do not know more about these, then I ask you why. Thank you for taking my comments.
Thank you. All right. And we have Derek Kolb up next.
Good evening. I know he talked about the tax rates, but again, on the publication, my big thing is the assumption that the tax rate is going to stay the same. Even with there are numerous times where you were issuing $25 million worth of bonds, so I don't know how that is going to affect the interest payments of when this goes out. So I would expect that tax rate would change very drastically than what this publication says.
Yes, please do. Yes, no. Can we pause this time?
Yeah, sure.
That way we don't take Derek's time. No, go ahead.
The way the publication works.
Well, do you want to let him finish and then he can answer everything?
Yes.
If he's not
If
done.
that's okay.
Whatever you guys want to do is fine.
And it seems like after the 30-day remonstrance, the public would have no checks and balances to how these funds are spent or what is actually taking from the bond. Because again, it says, I think the max is 10 million, or at least the max is to be paid 10 million, if I understand that correctly. But again, this assumption that's in here is based off of 5 million, I think, being spent. So I don't know how that tax rate again is going to balance with that. Again, and also he has the assumption that he expects CNAVs to go down according to the Senate bill, but seems for mine continues to go up, even though the tax rates are going down. My tax bill continues to go up. Other questions that I have is what happens if the CNAVs do drastically decrease? How will that affect it? If student enrollment drastically decreases, how will the effect of paying back this bond goes? And what happens if a school in the future is shut down and you have bonds held on that for collateral? Just my last comment is, as a school district, I believe that we are at a crossroads where tough decisions and tough discussions have to be made and need to be made. I believe it needs to be done in public in the form of a referendum according to the school model, because this bill's, it's not just going to be you paying the bill, it's going to be everybody in the public paying those bills. And I believe that they deserve a say and how that money is spent. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Derek. Good questions. Yes, if we can direct these questions to the appropriate people to answer. Matt, you can stand and answer those.
Yeah, I have a terrible memory, so remind me the ones that I miss.
I was trying to make notes. So, and what I had wrote initially was the tax rate and how is that possibly not changing.
Want help?
So, the publication that you're referring to, the future levies are correct. The tax rate, they make us go based on the current net assessed value, because that's all we know. So future net assessed values will 100% change that tax rate, won't change the tax levies at all. You mentioned that a net assessed value continued to go up. That has been true. Franklin County just published or just certified net assessed values for this next year, 2027. School corporation is down 1.98%. So as you go to pay your bills next year, the net assessed values for most people, or on average, let me say, not everyone, some may go up, but on average, you're going to see net assessed values come down 1.98%. Based on the way the formula works with Senate Enrolled Act 1, we would expect that to kind of be more of the norm moving forward. As the net assessed value comes down in 2027, if we're asking for the same dollars in debt service, you're going to see, excuse me, you're going to see that tax rate increase. But again, in that publication, they make us do it based on the snapshot of what the current net assessed value is. The last question I heard, what if bonds are still outstanding on bondage? We've had this conversation with administration and bond counsel. That potentially presents a problem. I think the administration is aware of that. You would need to pay off your bonds before demolishing that building. What else did I miss?
Just about student enrollment impact.
I can speak to enrollment potentially. Yeah, and I wish Kendra were here because she does it so eloquently. But the different financial buckets of money, the different accounts that we have that she typically will update each meeting. The student enrollment numbers, the money we get for the student enrollment feeds into an education fund, and the bond dollars are paid out of a different fund. So that would not impact. This is more tax related. If that's helpful, if that.
Yeah, and you had mentioned what if the NAV goes way down too, which again is entirely possible. If the NAV goes way down, we'd see the tax rate go up correspondingly. But again, the levy, the dollars the school corporation is asking for, that's the constant in this scenario. While they publish the max payment of $10 million, this picture is the plan moving forward of what they're asking for. So in 2033, that would be the first year of kind of the full amount. All of the other debt is gone, so we'd expect that to be closer to 5.6 million. The reason we set a higher number, especially on these type of projects, is because we're talking about potentially a 5-year plan or a 7-year plan, whatever the school board ends up doing. The state changes, other things can change. We want to build some cushion into that if things change dramatically, that the school corporation would have the ability to pivot. Based on what we know now, there is zero expectation of getting above the $5.7 million. Again, we don't know what the world's going to look like next week, let alone in 2031. That's the reason we listed a little bit higher. If we don't and something changes and that number needs to go higher for whatever reason, they'd have to come back and do this entire process again. So it does give them a little bit of wiggle room. But again, we're stating on record, there is zero expectation of getting above that I think it's $5,650,000. I'm at least close to that number. Did I miss any of your questions? I want to make sure I address all of them. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
Would we touch on everything?
Yeah.
I think we did. Okay.
We're right here.
Excellent. Great. I think that's everything for the signed up people that wanted to speak. Would anyone else like to speak? We're looking at you. Okay. Excellent. Thank you so much. So thank you for all who participated and for coming to our hearing. We appreciate your time, your interest in the projects and the future of our community. Please note that this is just the first step in the legal process. The board will continue to work with the administration and its professionals to look for efficiencies, to conserve tax dollars while meeting our educational needs. And Dustin, could you please summarize the project resolution?
Absolutely. The project resolution is required when the school is planning to spend more than $1 million per building. It contains the estimated hard and soft construction costs and the cost of issuance and establishes the total project cost. It also contains the estimated tax impact.
Excellent. Okay. So that is all for the hearing portion at this point. We would be looking for a motion, a second, to adopt the project resolution. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt the board resolution.
Thank you, Kevin. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Brandy, I think. Excellent. Any discussion? I will add, just for clarity, I think this is repetitive. We probably said it last time, but this being the first step, the unified, or as it was described, umbrella bond portion of it, not taking all 80 million at once, not having the projects concrete yet. We don't have that plan. We're so excited to share that plan when we have it, right? This is very exciting to see these much needed updates for our entire community. So again, just to clarify that, projects and more details to come, but this is just the bond portion. And thank you to our legal counsel, to Matt, for showing up and walking us through this as well. We've been going through this. Okay.
I think we need to go back and say something about the grandfather thing. I mean, this money may not be available to us if we're not grandfathering it now. So, I mean, if you want to
Speak to
say
that.
something about that,
Mhm.
that's a huge deal.
Yeah,
Huge.
absolutely. And that was suggested by Kristen McClellan, our bond counsel, with Ice Miller, and that is speaking to just the legislation. So we see the state laws change, not always in our favor, unfortunately. I don't know why they feel the way they do about public education sometimes, but this is keeping what we can control in our hands, which is really kind of locking in on the terms that we know we have right now, and not sitting back and waiting for things to change. So that was a good point, Beth, that, yeah, this is grandfathering us into the laws that we know today so that we can truly make good plans without worrying about the goalposts moving along the way, right?
Well, I think it's kind of like if you're going to build a house and you go out and you get a loan and you hope that that loan, if you get so far that you hope that loan stays at X, X percentage, then that's kind of what we're doing here. So,
Yeah. Excellent.
correct, Matt? Am I right? Thank you.
And we don't have to use it if
Right.
there's no penalty there, right?
Right.
Excellent. Any other discussion? Okay, let's take a vote. So all in favor, raise your right hand. Okay. 7-0. Excellent. Thank you so much. All right, Justin, could you please summarize the preliminary determination resolution?
Absolutely. The preliminary determination resolution is required when the school is planning to finance more than a certain amount for a given facility. It contains the total project costs, maximum annual payment and lease term, and other financial terms such as the estimated principal amount and tax impact.
Okay. Excellent. And
First, second discussion, but
we did. Oh, that's right.
For this one.
Sorry. I think I'm duplicating here. Excellent. Okay. So now for the resolution, looking for a motion.
Make a motion to approve the preliminary determination resolution.
Excellent. Kevin Kaiser, is there a second?
I'll second.
And Brandy. Okay. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor, raise your right hand. 7-0. Okay, very good. And Dustin, could you please summarize the reimbursement resolution?
Absolutely. The next resolution is a reimbursement resolution related to the financing of the construction project. This resolution permits the school corporation to reimburse itself from bond proceeds for any cash which it might spend on the project prior to the closing on the bonds. It is required by federal tax law in order to preserve the school corporation's ability to reimburse itself.
Okay.
For second discussion.
Yep. And now we're looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the reimbursement resolution.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Brandy Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. 7-0 again. Okay, excellent. We now will adjourn our public hearing portion of this meeting. Excellent. Okay. So let's call to order our regular meeting. Let me make sure I got the right page in front of me here. All right. So our regular school board meeting on Monday, August 10th, 2026. And if I could ask everyone, if you may, please stand for the pledge of allegiance and moment of silence.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. All right, and we will have another roll call. Jessica Brennan, I am present. Greg Burris.
Here.
Beth Foster.
Here.
Katie Holman. Here. Kevin Kaiser.
Here.
Simonson.
Here.
And Brandy Wilson.
Here.
Thank you. Okay, we will go to item number 4, our celebrations.
Always been so much to celebrate, but
Yeah.
nothing formal tonight, other than the opening of the school year, which was a fantastic start.
I love it. That's great. Jumping to item number 5, which is our statements from the public and employees. And in order to address the board, individuals must sign in prior to the start of the meeting. Individuals who have signed up are given 3 minutes to speak. A maximum of 5 individuals may address the board regarding the same topic, issue, or concern. Individuals are asked to avoid repetition and shall not be permitted to use names of individual employees or students. And we do have one more signed up, and that is Derek Kolb. Again.
Yeah, just a quick comment. Since I haven't had been able to make a comment after the purchase of property, I don't go to Facebook. I don't put it out there, so I'm not that kind of person. Many of you, or some of you, had said that you had safety concerns as to something being put there. I just would like to hear some reiteration of what those safety concerns are, because I think that if anything was being put there, which I think there were permits put out to build stuff there, but nothing came to fruition if I saw the GIS correctly. That I think that there would be certain setbacks to be able to put something there that people would be able to see, but that's a moot point since you already approved it. My thing would be, I think that a sidewalk there would definitely be an improvement to help kids safely get down to the gas station. My thing would be, I would not put a sign there because I think you are causing a very big safety concern there by people trying to read the sign going around the corner, because people are trying to get out in front of traffic coming off of Wildcat Lane. I feel like making that hindrance there of people not paying attention to the road and trying to read the sign, I feel that that is a huge negative thing, and there might be a very large wreck there, and hopefully it's not one of the students. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I can comment on that. I think you said just a reiteration of the safety concerns. And yes, it is tough when there's been nothing there for so long. It's hard to say that nothing will ever be there, but I am a fan of kind of just locking in and ensuring, again, control what you can, making sure that we don't have a very busy business there. Who knows what it could be The running joke is a coffee shop, which many of us would probably love to see, but it would be very dangerous to have that on the same spot where our kids are pulling in and out twice a day, and our parents, our families. That's one. The other thought is the safety of just walking that area. We don't love that kids walk in the road and go up to the gas station, but it's just going to happen. That's what they do once, especially they hit the freedom of middle school and high school. They love to do that. So I'm with you. I'd love to see something a bit more safe, a sidewalk or any idea would be great, just to really lock in and control that. The other thought too along that was just really the visibility of our school and giving that perception of a clean corner instead of this overgrown corner that we've been sitting on for a long time. But
Mr. Gehring, are you going to ask Derek to see you or call you on any updates? And so we don't need to go through that tonight, but are you going to offer him what
Absolutely.
we've gone through?
I didn't want to interrupt.
Okay.
Our board president,
Okay.
of course. Yes, ma'am. So of course, always available to you and keep you updated along the way. And if you'd ever like to meet to sit down and talk about it, we could go out there together. I'd be happy to do that with you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a few things towards
oh,
that.
sure.
You said you haven't been able to make a comment after the purchase of the land. All of us are open to phone calls, emails, any of that. I agree, don't get on Facebook. That's not where you get the right answers. Safety concerns, yes. But it's amazing. I drove through Connersville twice today. Billboards on the way into town, billboards on the way into town from the north end. Walmart has a sign out. I've heard, oh, why would we put a sign? Everybody knows the school's back here. Well, everybody knows Walmart's there too. Signs are there for a reason. We say, do you know there's setbacks? Yes, we know there's setbacks, but then in the same breath say, now that's a safety concern. So is it the sign's going to be too far back that they won't see it, or is too close and it's going to be a safety issue? I don't understand how our sign is all of a sudden a safety issue and Cobblestone has a sign, gas station has a sign, Gilman's has a sign, the dam has a sign. I mean, if people can't read signs as they go by, they may not, shouldn't be driving is my opinion, but it is a safety concern because it has been looking at putting a drive-through coffee shop there in the past.
I'm gonna wait till talk to the attorney.
Can I continue?
I wasn't bothering you, was I?
As I've said in the past, or as Katie said, I think quite well at last meeting, people associate that entrance with our school. So putting a sign there and sprucing it up to look nice for our entrance, I think is a great thing. Putting a sidewalk, as you said and I've said, I think that would be a great thing down the road if it could be done. But that's all things that have to come in time, and it starts with step one. That's it.
I think that concludes our statements from the public and employees. We'll go to item number 6, which is our consent agenda items. And we are looking for a motion
First, second discussion of it.
on our consent agenda items.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
I'll second.
Randy, a second. Is there any discussion? Okay. All in favor to approve our consent agenda items? Raise your right hand. Thank you.
Is that 7?
7-0.
Very good.
Item 6E are our new hires.
Yes, so we have a number of folks here. We have Kristen Smith, paraprofessional at BES, Jessica Phillips, paraprofessional at BES, Amanda Kolb, ISS at FCMS, Stephen Harmeyer, Communications Media Relations Coordinator, Sherry Zippin, Traffic Assistant, and we're thankful for all of those folks joining our team. With that, I'll need a first, second discussion of that.
I have a question. Is Sherry Zippin the one that you were training the other day?
Yes.
At the...
Yes.
She was scared to death.
We got through it. She by the time I was done with her first day, she was rock solid. But at first, she was like, "What did I sign up for?"
Well, and when I was going past as you handed her sign,
Yes.
and she went
Yes.
like this. I'm not taking that sign.
Yeah, we worked through some of those jitters for sure, but we're in good shape. She came out on that storm and crushed it during the torrential rain, so we got a good one, that's for sure.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
That's awesome.
Second.
Was that Kevin?
Yes.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor to approve our new hires, raise your right hand. 7-0. Did you vote, Katie? Okay, make sure to mention 7-0. Okay, that takes us to item number 6F, our personnel for extracurricular.
Yeah, quite a few names here. I'll read through them and I'll do as reasonably as I possibly can. At BES, we have Sarah Nengard, our webpage director. FCMS, Alan Epsley, our cross-country coach. Veronica Reeves, 7th grade volleyball coach. McKenna Metz, dance coach. Joey Kreger, volunteer dance coach. Bryce Sane, assistant football coach A. Austin Cowan, assistant football coach B. Chase Howland, assistant football coach C. Continuing on, at FCHS, we have Nicole Flint, flag corps color guard. Stacy Angelo, volunteer flag corps guard assistant. Brandon Cowan, the assistant athletic director. Christy Kuntz, head varsity girls volleyball. Nick Van Oven, varsity assistant girls volleyball. Sean Burns, varsity assistant girls volleyball. Lauren Stacy, JV assistant girls volleyball. Kristen Campbell, head freshman girls volleyball. Kelly Mindorf, varsity cheer coach. Jennifer Singer, assistant cheer coach. Tanya Wirtz, cheer block co-sponsor. Brandon Cowan, cheer block co-sponsor. Will Fanglinger, head varsity boys tennis. Michael Kristoff, JV assistant boys tennis. Hannah Suber, head varsity girls soccer. David Pearson, varsity assistant girls soccer. Megan Pearson, volunteer assistant girls soccer. Alan Epsley, head varsity cross country co-ed. Ashlyn Effman, head dance coach. Ashley Turner, assistant dance coach. Marissa Mears, head varsity girls golf. Brandon Cowan, volunteer girls golf coach. Jake Suber, head varsity boys soccer. Emily Miller, varsity assistant boys soccer. John Wagner, volunteer varsity assistant boys soccer. Denny Dorrell, varsity assistant girls basketball. Abigail Woods, JV assistant girls basketball. Steve Lewis, girls basketball summer coordinator. Mark Foster, head varsity boys basketball. Derek Stang, varsity assistant boys basketball. Dylan Huber, JV assistant boys basketball. Brett Rauch, head freshman boys basketball. Mark Foster, boys basketball summer coordinator. Justin Lacing, head varsity wrestling coach. Daniel Payne, girls varsity assistant wrestling coach. Austin Miller, girls JV assistant wrestling coach. Shelby Hamilton, wrestlette sponsor. Melissa Schwab, volunteer wrestlette sponsor. Justin Lysing, head boys head varsity wrestling coach. Daniel Payne, boys varsity assistant wrestling coach. Austin Miller, boys JV assistant wrestling coach. Lyndon Sizemore, volunteer assistant wrestling coach. Cole Freeze, volunteer assistant wrestling coach. AJ Huber, who I coached in high school, by the way, volunteer assistant wrestling coach. Lane Westerman, volunteer assistant wrestling coach. Colin Troyer, volunteer assistant wrestling coach. And that is a list.
That is a list. Okay.
With that, I need a second discussion.
Is there a motion to approve our personnel for extracurricular?
I'll make a motion to approve the extracurricular.
Kevin Kaiser. Is there a second? Katie Holman. Thank you. Any discussion?
Yes. So I'd pointed out that a couple of these were thought to have been done a while back, and then also like volleyball, they've already started and we're approving. I've asked several times for this process to be more guidelined or laid out. When the season's over, I feel like there should be reviews done, and those reviews should be brought to us with the recommendations for any extensions that are being signed. I mean, to take it a step further, I think the varsity coaches' contract should be done a lot differently, but that has to do with CBA. But it boggles my mind that we don't see reviews or any reasoning why we're not filing extensions. That'd be your taxes, sorry. Recommending extensions, or why the timeline is so off. I mean, volleyball's been over since November at the latest last year, and we're just now approving.
I don't disagree. There could be some correction to the timeline. I don't disagree with that process. The board's addressed before their desire or lack of desire to read those reviews, as you've mentioned. That's been a board conversation previously. Certainly something we can look at as far as timeline goes. That conversation today that I had, exactly the same conversation landed in a space of like a lot of in and out because there is a lot of changeover, particularly, but not at the head coach position as much as some of the assistant positions. But I will work with our ADs around particularly the head coach position, ensuring that we look at those in a more timely manner.
Well, I would say that too. I mean, I think we should be approving varsity coaches and then all the assistants in a separate meeting. I mean, we should approve the varsity coaches first. And once they're approved, then they can pick their staff, and I would have no problem approving their staff.
I would like to say that I was just gonna say before he said that this is pretty amazing that he's got this, this is all mostly fall, but there are some winter, but that's amazing that he's got all his assistants, all his volunteers. It's a tough job and nobody wants to do, come out and spend lots of hours doing. So I was just gonna tell him that I thought he did a good job. On the varsity head coaches, depends on, I think we discussed this, but depends on their contracts. Some have two, correct?
Not
2
in our
years?
current model. Not in our current
Okay,
model.
okay, well, that used to be, so that wouldn't
Yes,
have
ma'am.
to come before the board every time.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other discussion? Okay. All in favor to approve our extracurricular personnel, raise your right hand. That's 7-0. Okay. Moving on to item G, which is our grants and donations.
Yep. So Chad Gutzweiler, teacher at FCHS, is requesting permission to accept the following: a donation in the amount of $500 from Connie Flashpuller from the Wildcat Haven FCHS Courtyard, which is incredible. They've done an incredible job in there to help with the cost of building materials for the courtyard stage. Also, a donation in the amount of $500 from Nick Sperlin Memorial Fund for the Wildcat Haven FCHS Courtyard to help with the cost of the items for the courtyard. If you haven't seen the courtyard, please stop by. We'll come over, give a tour. They've done an incredible job. Chad has been the leader, but then there's other people lots of people have chipped in. I would encourage all of you to stop by. In addition to that, Victoria Wolzenbacher, teacher at FCHS, is requesting permission to accept a grant in the amount of $1,000 from the Franklin County Community Foundation for dry erase tabletops for her math classroom. With that, I would need a first, second discussion, and vote.
Is there a motion?
Motion to accept grants and donations.
Kevin Kaiser. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Brandy Wilson. Okay. Any discussion?
No, the courtyard is awesome.
Yeah.
Can you guys tell me a little bit about the courtyard project, just briefly?
Do you know where, have you been to the courtyard?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it hadn't been used for a long time. Can somebody just briefly
Absolutely.
get me up to speed, and
So-
the people at home too?
Yes, absolutely. So in the midst of the library at the high school, just outside of there is a space that hasn't been used in a long time because of some fire marshal and concerns around egress. We fixed that issue, so now there's enough egress to get in and out without any barriers. They've taken that space and think of like a garden area, right, where they brought in mulch, rock, seating areas. They're building a stage. A student could sit there and play music for those in the crowd, and there's like a walking path as well, so kids can go over either during lunch or during any time that they need. That they've been given permission to have some reflective time as a beautiful sunlight open ceiling, or lack of ceiling, I should say, but just like a really beautiful courtyard. Honestly, really incredible job.
Yeah, well, they've done that and utilized that. It just
Yes.
sat empty for a long time.
Well, the bushes weren't pruned, they weren't cut, I think they even did some more planting on some other things, I think.
Chad had shared that with me. I think they plan on a few other things.
Yes.
So visibly it does look beautiful, but I think they're even just doing things like in memory of students and different things to really put a lot more into it than just looks. So fabulous. And I was able to see that when we went to our back to school night, found our locker and did all those things. So really, really nice over there. Any other discussion? Okay. And thank you to all. Thank you to all for donating. Connie Flashpolar, Nick Sperlin, Nick Sperlin Memorial Fund, and of course the Franklin County Community Foundation. Thank you so much.
Great partners.
Yep, great. All in favor to accept these grants and donations, raise your right hand. 7-0. Excellent. Item number 7, this is our financial reports.
Yes.
I'll let you
Yeah, so
give the real report.
Kendra had a beautiful baby girl. And yeah, I'm trying to look for the right phrasing. And with that, she's had her hands very much full. And so we had a plan in place around someone to come in and take her place, which is incredibly difficult to do. You cannot fill those shoes. And no one really can, honestly. But we are working our way through access to different programs and things of that nature. And so in September, we'll be bringing the board both the August and September financial report. These are really board awareness reports more than anything around requirements. But we want to stay true to the course, and so we'll be bringing those to you. And of course, I'm sure Kendra's probably watching, and so we wish her all the best and everything like that. So she's been in touch along the way. But just want to tell the board what was going on. So we'll bring both reports in September. Give us a chance to get our feet back underneath us a little bit.
Yep, thank you for that. So that is our item 7A, B, and C. So that'll push us to item 7D, which is the recommendation to advertise our 2027 budget.
Yeah, Mr. Dustin Gehring, Superintendent of Schools, and Ms. Kendra Frank, CFO, are requesting approval to advertise and publish the following. Advertise the capital project plan notice to taxpayers and bus replacement plan notice to taxpayers in the Brookville Democrat. Form 3 notice to taxpayers in Gateway regarding the date of the budget public hearing and the date of adoption. Publish the bus replacement plan, capital acquisition plan, and projects capital and nature plan on the Franklin County Community School Corporation website. And with that, it's a logistical piece that we have to step through. I'll need a first, second discussion, and a vote.
Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve the recommendation to advertise the 2027 budget.
Is there a second?
Second.
Brandy Wilson, second. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. 7-0. Okay. The next is item number 8, our old business, which we have no old business. Item number 9 is new business. So item number 9A is the 2026-2027 certified handbook.
Ms. New is requesting the approval of the certified handbook as written. Shannon, you want to talk to them a little bit about that process?
So since I have been here, we have not had a certified handbook. Rumor is there was one back in the day, but nobody can find it. So this is not new information. This is all board approved information put in a central location so that if staff have questions, they have a place they can go and look and maybe not call myself or Kendra as much. But if they do, I can send them to where it's supposed to be. We would like to put this on PSW with our new staff trainings. And there is a sign-off part of it, just like there is for the classified handbook as well. But again, no new information, just in a central location.
Thank you, Shannon. And with that, we need a first, second discussion and vote.
I'll move.
Okay. Kim Simonson, is there a second?
I'll second.
Brandy? Okay. Any discussion?
I think it's a great idea.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
I want to thank her and her team. A while back I said, hey, we need this thing. And all of a sudden, as busy as she is, she was able to find a way to get this done. So kudos to her and her team and everyone who contributed.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay. Okay, in that case, all in favor to approve the 2026-2027 certified handbook, raise your right hand. 7-0. Okay. Item 9B is transportation.
Mr. Ron Bale is requesting to transfer his contract on bus Route 8 to Tricia Race, effective 9/11 of 26. There's a process of handing over contracts over time to his daughter. And so with that, I will need a first, second discussion and vote.
Is there a motion? Beth Foster?
I so move.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Brandy.
I have a question. Is that the only bus route that Ron has that he gave up?
That's the one he's listed here is giving up. He's
But
given
he's
one
still-
previous.
Yeah, I know he's had a lot, but,
Yes.
okay. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'll share, I know I asked about this, but Tricia Race is his daughter, am I
That's correct.
Correct.
I think, has routes already, so it's not really a new.
This is her, yeah.
Yeah, it's not new to us. She's already with us driving. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor to approve the route transfer to Tricia Reese, raise your right hand. 7-0. Okay. All right, that takes us to item number 10.
Before we move
Other-
on, I have some other new business, if we can. Last year, concerns were raised that we didn't have adequate time for due diligence on our insurance renewal and that we had not sought competitive proposals. I'd like to make sure we address both concerns this year and give the board plenty of time to evaluate our options. Therefore, I move that the board authorize the administration and Mr. Gearing to begin soliciting competitive proposals for the corporation's insurance coverage for the upcoming renewal prior to bargaining beginning. That is my motion.
Okay.
Does
So
that
that's a-
have to be on the original agenda?
So I anticipated that question, so I looked into it beforehand. The Indiana Public Access Counselor has addressed this issue specifically. In opinion 13-FC-320, the PAC concluded that a governing body may deviate from its agenda and expressly stated that this applies to final actions and votes as well. We're not selecting an insurance provider tonight, awarding a contract, or committing the corporation to any expenditure. My motion simply authorizes us to begin seeking competitive proposals so that we have adequate time to perform the due diligence that was requested last year. So unless there's a separate statute or board policy that prohibits this board from considering the motion, I believe the motion is properly before the board, and I ask that we proceed with the motion.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second it.
Randy Wilson. Okay. Discussion.
I'd like to bring up one thing. In my 2 years here, often concerns have been brought my way. I go look into them and I come back and say, can I go look at bidding processes for name the thing? And that's been pretty typical. This process is a little bit different than the norm, right? So this is not my proposal, but I will follow the direction of the board, of course. I'll do what I'm told to do, of course. And so the only other thing I would add is if the board gives me direction to go do this, I would ask that I am allowed to work with the vendors directly myself, solely myself, where we have no board action or board involvement in the vendor selection. That's an important piece. That's part of my role, is working with vendors and then, of course, being able to bring back any recommendations. So that would just be my one request of the whole thing, even though this is not my recommendation. Just the same, I do have that request.
Does the teachers have a voice in selection of the vendor?
Yes.
So the process of selecting a vendor is always the choice of those who are looking at it. In my process, they will absolutely be a part of the conversation.
To me, this is no different than a mowing contract or janitorial supplies contract. It's just
Kevin,
allowing the administration.
Could you speak up just a
It's
little
no
bit?
different, to me, it's no different than a mowing contract or a janitorial supplies contract or any other RFP or anything of that nature, other than actually this one, we're not going in knowing that we're going to change or going to spend money as we do with the other ones. This is just seeing what our options are, presenting them if you so desire to the bargaining committees or however you want to go about that procedure. But this gives the board time to see what is out there and assess the information.
I appreciate that. And you are right. That was the concern last December, was this is too much to take on at once, too quick of a decision. So I think that is our commitment to our staff, our teachers, but also our taxpayers, to say we are being prudent with your money. We are going to look at these proposals and get in front of it in a timely manner. So yeah.
To be clear, the direction, if the board chooses, if I go back to the way we've done this before, I've charted essentially, here are the proposals that were given. I've told you this is my recommendation, and then you guys act accordingly, whatever that looks like for you. Just to be clear that step by step would be the same in this realm, where I would collect, gather information, score accordingly, and then bring forth both all of the scores, and then also my recommendation. I will absolutely, because I think healthcare is a huge part of any corporation's culture and ability to retain staff, include members of staff to ensure that they have a piece of the conversation as well. I think it's a collaborative approach. I don't agree that it's just like a mowing contract or just like janitorial, because it's people's lives that we're talking about here. That's critical to me. And so having people with a voice at the table is also critical to me.
I'll clarify, I'm sorry, Brandy. The process is this, just like those, and it's the same taxpayer dollars. I'm not comparing janitorial supplies to our employees' health insurance. It's a process to see what is available to us.
And I think that the process that you've explained is a good process, Dustin. I would definitely personally agree with that. And I do agree that healthcare and insurance is very important. But I would like to see, maybe some advantages that we are possibly missing out on, as far as maybe different medications being covered that that our current insurance policies don't cover, and things outside. Maybe it may give our employees better options, and we would have more time to prepare for that than we did in December.
I think Dustin does that when you look at the contracts and you bring us the people that we are thinking about, right?
Sure.
You go through,
For all the other vendors and all
yes.
those processes, of course.
he does that, and then he brings us what would fit our situation, correct?
I will say my
I'm not
own
trying to put
anxiety.
words in your mouth.
So when you think about a copier contract, right, and I'm able to bring, here are the vendors and here's kind of the apples to apples comparison, right, of copier contracts, or a mowing even simpler, right, where this is how much per mow, per piece of land, like it's fairly simple. There's so much complexity to this reality that when I bring it forth to you, it's going to be difficult to process on the face value, right? Because it's not always, it's going to be as apples as we can, but really the most consistent thing is the administrative fee. And it's really hard to get into what medications are or are not covered.
I don't mean specifically. I just mean that maybe there is a policy that
Sure.
may be cheaper and have better options for the employees. And I do have one question.
Yeah.
I know that we have been with the current insurance company for quite some time. Is that
So our service provider, our kind of our liaison between
right.
is MJ, and MJ's done a really nice job since I've been here of answering the questions, connecting the dots, and ensuring that we have a very reasonable rate year to year. But that piece of the pie, MJ's role would be one piece of the conversation is, are we looking to replace MJ? The second piece, of course, is what can anyone offer in their relationships with these other insurance companies, right? So if they have relations with Anthem or they have relations with,
Right.
name the place, then and that relationship then determines what can we offer accordingly. And so it's going to be pretty complex, to be honest with you, but not impossible. But there's kind of those two slices, which is who's our mediator, who's our go-between, and then second, and what do they cost, right?
Right.
And then secondly, what can they offer as far as their relationships to others or the way in which they operate, right? What's their system of processes?
We've been with them for quite some time.
I couldn't tell you a year, but I'm in my third, so it's been here a while before I got here.
I think we hired Dustin to do, this as part of your job, and I think that you need to take this on and bring the best thing that you think to us
I do it every day.
and go,
Yes,
I know
ma'am.
you do, but
You
I
don't-
just thought that needed to be said.
I appreciate that.
You don't feel like you have adequate time to do that?
Tell me more. Help me understand your
I
question.
mean, a timeline to initiate the evaluation. Are you comfortable with what you have?
I would say from a timeline perspective, our biggest hurdle I've learned is, of course, that they're not going to be able to give us great, perfect numbers because we're still in the midst of our plan right now, and so there's a lot of times when they give you their lack of better words offer, it's really with months left to go, and so they'll tell you like, here's our offer right now, but we can't say that it's guaranteed in 3 months because in 3 months we may have some catastrophic something that may change some things. But as far as like front time, I would say we're in a good spot from a front time. I just won't be able to get all the information, and that's always going to be true. It's a bit of a cycle where it really is hard to break away from anyone, because by the time you get real numbers, you're also processing your next step right in that same moment. So it's hard to break that. So the information I'll be able to give you, from what I understand, will be administrative fee, the type of relationships that they have, and promises that they can make to us.
Okay, I'm a little confused about the teacher's role in this. When
Yeah.
do they come on board?
So, well, understand that I just learned this too. My thinking is that I'm going to have them in the room when the proposals come in. So when we did our relationship with Chartwells, we had a bidding process, and then we sat down and we have a matrix of scoring, and we have a few folks in the room that were helping to score. I would see that our teachers would be, or our staff would be, some people in the room, have some representatives in the room when the scoring happens, so that they also have some say. So at the end of the day, it's still my name and my recommendation, but the scoring process will be pretty important.
And yes,
And I think we heard that last December.
yes.
It was a change. It felt like in a moment's notice, or something really left them feeling unnerving. So I appreciate you
Yes.
thinking of a process
Yeah.
to consider them.
I hope I didn't put anything on you that you didn't want, but I really think that you need to be our leader on this and to choose
Good
our,
job. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We're on the same page.
she loves that. He loves that.
No, 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 ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay.
There's parts of it I love very, very much, but I wouldn't rather have anybody else do it. How about that? Yeah. But at this point, we have a first and a second, and we still have more discussion, of course, and then a vote.
If there is any other discussion, okay, I'm going to attempt to restate Kevin's motion, so keep me honest. All in favor to approve authorizing Dustin Gehring to begin the process for soliciting bids for insurance company proposals? Raise your right hand. Was I pretty close, Kevin? Okay. I think that's 5. All opposed? That is 5-2. So now that takes us to item number 10, other our committee reports.
Yeah, but as always, we just kind of go down the list. If anybody has anything to add, they certainly can. It's beginning of the year, and that's all fair, but just to make sure everybody has a chance to have a voice. Academic achievement, staff morale, marketing community connection, athletics ECAs, master facility capital projects, budget finance, transportation, Brookville, Franklin County redevelopment liaison, library liaison.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting so close. We have made the neighbors really, really happy on our lighting behind the genealogy department. We're gonna put lights that are lower lights. They're called, what are they called? Bullions, or I don't know, but it won't be these great big, and they're not, do you know what they're called? What are those called? Those little low
I know.
lights. But anyway, it'll mark, and we're talking to the town where we will put a handicap right in that alley, but it won't be the town alley, but we will take off of our property to put the handicap right by the ramp that goes up there. So we went through zoning, and we're very, 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 very close to starting. And we got some really neat news that some libraries are doing away with their genealogy because it's, number one, space, and number two, it's they don't want to put somebody, and they don't have a lot of turnover. They don't have a lot of people coming in. But we had 2 ladies, well, I guess 4 people, they weren't together, but they had, we have had people from Indianapolis come down and give us, well, we got an 1814 quilt the other day that they didn't, it was in Franklin County, but they didn't want to put it in Indianapolis because they thought that they would just throw it in the, so that's why they brought it down. But we're getting lots and lots of that stuff. It's exciting. People say, what's a library? But it really is exciting when we're doing something really good. So.
Is there any thought about when they're gonna move across the road,
Uh,
Beth?
yeah, we're almost there. We're
Okay.
starting construction probably next month.
And are they moving genealogy over or just part of genealogy?
All of it, all that we can get over there.
I didn't know about the humidity and the restrictions on
They've
some of
got
it.
all,
They
they've
got it
done
all
all
figured
that,
out?
yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Beth.
That's a great update. Thank
Yeah.
you. Nothing new from APC, and then of course any other updates around the room. Okay.
That is discussion only. That will take us to item 11, the superintendent's report.
I'll just stay right in this space right here, which is, we've had an incredible kickoff. I would say it's the best of the three that I've been a part of here. Smooth sailing, and we could not do any of this without all hands on deck. And honestly, whether it was arrival, dismissal, our bus drivers, our custodial team, our maintenance team, teachers, principals, honestly, it's been an incredible start to the school year, and I'm just so excited about what comes next. Having a great kickoff this way. Shannon and I talk about it all the time about how exciting it is to be a part of something where all systems are go. There's a lot of connectivity. There's a lot of things that are going, all arrows pointing in the same direction. When you guys hired me, you may remember, probably don't. In my interview, I talked about the fact that all arrows point the same direction. And we feel like, I don't want to speak only for Shannon, but we talk about it so often, that our arrows are pointing in the right direction, right? And they're all pointing the same direction. And so it's just exciting and to know that our kids are benefiting from that, from a great kickoff and also sailing. Our new admins are really doing a great job. The high school counseling team did a fantastic job of getting that scheduling process just right. Honestly, just really good. Shannon spent time at Laurel because Andrew was where he should be, which was home with his child for a couple of days. And so she stepped up into that space, did a great job. Just honestly, all really positive, and we're just excited about where it goes from here. So that's really my one report.
Yep.
Just gonna leave it at that.
Good. That's a great report. Item 12, legislative updates.
Only update Mr. Gearing and myself attended the Metamora celebration of the $14 million grant. The only really reason I bring it up is I did have a conversation with Senator Rotz. He introduced himself to me and reiterated, said he was working on some stuff for us, and nobody is coming after us.
They are not.
It's just figuring out how to put that in writing.
Yep.
So I thought that was good news.
Yeah, that was great, and I appreciate that. He, I'll just add on, just on that note, we did have a meeting with him, and that was brought up tonight as well, to ensure that as we understand the way these bills are written, we're not in danger there. The state's not coming after us. That's not the intention of that, and we've, for our bond purpose as well, asked to make sure that we are able to fully sail into this process without that concern. So,
And just to pull the veil back
Yep.
a little bit, I was able to reiterate to our staff boldly and straight in front of them that we are a 5-school model. There is no question about that. And unless this board decides something different, that'll be the way in which we operate until we decide something different, which you guys were very clear about 2 Marches ago. So anyone out there who's still anxious about that, there's no reason to be. Call me. I'll tell you all about all the conversations I've had with IDOE and Senator Rotz and everything in between that says what I've been saying since 2 Marches ago, which is they're not coming after us. That is not true. We are good. We are good to roll, and we just got to put a couple of things together so that we can spend money on the building the way we want to. But there is no reason for any concern until this board decides something different. We are going to be a 5-school model.
excellent. Great. Item 13, future agenda requests. Are there any?
Yes.
ma'am.
I know we're getting ready to do stuff on buildings, and I know we've kind of been at a hold, but I was in 3 buildings before school started, and I asked about Laurel. I didn't go out there, but they said Shannon took care of this out there, so did not get to Mount Carmel. But do we have any extra paint around? Can we get some paint?
Sure.
We need some paint on some of those walls,
Classrooms or hallways?
classrooms.
So our teachers had asked the question, may I paint? I said, absolutely you can. Just stay
Okay.
within our our reasonable logo limits and stay somewhat conservative in the process. And so we've given that green light already. If anyone
Okay.
who wants to take those things on, they are absolutely able to. But a big part of that next wave, right? So what you've already given me direction on, this isn't like gonna decide later. You've already given me the direction, which is to improve the 3 elementary schools. Part of that is classroom renovations. Part of classroom renovations is paint and tech and everything in between. So hammer to nail in the spring and everything kicks off.
Okay, well, I don't know if some of them can wait till spring. I mean, some of them
Sure.
are really, really bad.
Sure, I understand.
And you walk in and it's like, these rooms are decorated like no other when these teachers and you see
Sure.
the paint awful.
Okay,
So I don't know.
we'll take a look.
Was that a future agenda request or just
I just
Comment.
wanted, just,
Put it on my agenda.
got it? Put it on his,
Put it on my
put it
agenda.
on his agenda.
but
Very
I
good.
mean, just maybe over fall break, we could get the paint up or, I don't know.
We'll take a look.
And like you said, you don't have to do it all, but some of it is.
And if you know a place that is awful, would you please send me an email with a list
Mhm.
so I know what awful looks like and so I can go chase it?
Mhm.
Absolutely.
But doesn't the principals at the end of the school year give you a list of needed repairs?
We have a constant rolling list of repairs.
Gotcha.
I don't know that paint has risen to the top of that list, but I do appreciate that it is important. That's really good.
Yep.
Just an order request. So Mr. Gearing can go last and end on a happy note, move legislative updates up to the committee reports. We never had the committee reports before, so it was a separate.
Mm.
Seems boring to end at the
So
end
you're
with a
requesting-
legislative update.
To move item 12, our legislative update, just as a part of the committee reports.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, ultimately, you made the agenda, so.
Okay, noted.
That way we can end on the superintendent's happy report and not a legislative update.
Okay, that's good.
Understood.
It's a tough one.
Right. And then item 14, recognition and acknowledgements.
I would like to recognize the two ladies that run our transportation office, Brittany and Raquel, because I tell you, it is no easy task trying to route 17 or 1,800 kids. And the endless messages that they have is unbelievable. And I'd like to ask next year, the last week before school started, maybe if we could pull somebody else in to help them just with the phone calls
Oh.
to answer that, because I know they had a tremendous amount of,
They do an incredible job.
it's not an easy task.
Yes, very much.
Excellent. I'll reiterate just a congratulations to Kendra and the Franks family
Yes.
on their new addition. So,
Did we send flowers or something?
We have a process we follow. Of course
and
we
we're
do.
gonna send a nanny.
We have
Send
a
help.
system and a process and
Thank
a
you.
procedure.
That's good.
Okay.
She might need food.
Yeah.
She might need a credit card or
She'll
something.
need
I think that if that's everything, then we will adjourn our meeting for tonight, 7:14 p.m. Our next regular school board meeting at 6 p.m. Monday, September 14th, 2026 at the Franklin County Admin Building, right here.
And team,
Thank
I do
you.
have some signatures to grab from you.